This is the most common type of bridge, made of rope, and the rope is made from branches of trees intertwined. It consists of three parts, one on which you walk and one on either side for the hands to hold, and it can take hardly 2 men at a time. We asked them how often they renew the bridge, and the answer was when it breaks. They last, I believe, a season. It's not very easy to walk across this type of bridge. The expedition is now on its way to the mountain. And this is the first stage of it, having crossed the bridge on the way to Joglode, which was the first village. We had about 60 coolies, but we are going higher and higher now, crossing these streams on the way with cold, icy cold, rushing water. Many of these men would bring their burro for carrying loads in addition to what he carries himself. We were going higher and higher now, and there were 60 coolies to carry the load of the expedition. Wildflowers were in full blossom at this time of the year. And we are now almost reaching the end of the tree line. Having climbed about 10,000 feet. The track is like a goat track, very narrow, steep, and going uphill all the time. We have passed Joglot village, which is the last big village, and now entering Darbar, where we camp for the night. And this is before getting to the base camp. There are no more villages now, and this is the first base camp which the expedition established, about 12,000 feet high. In the distance is the glacier rising towards Rakaposhi. We were fortunate to find a plateau like this with a stream running through, where the tents were pitched and the baggage was sorted out. The coolies were sent back home, and the porters who were to stay with us started the work on their own. We were fortunate in finding a Hunza who said he was a cook. It took him some time to know what cooking was, but I must say that he was extremely intelligent. In no time he became pretty efficient in cooking most of the things that were needed. Making a chapati, which is like a pancake, there were 6 porters. 2 of them had been with the German expedition before and knew something about high altitude. The rest came for the first time, but it wasn't very difficult for them to get climatized and climb Kanchenjunga. We decided to change the base camp and make a different approach. And so we shifted to another place, and this is the second base camp, which was 14,000 feet high. We had a stream running through the camp where water started flowing at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When you are on a mountain, there's hardly any privacy between the members. George Band getting a haircut from David Fisher. Incidentally, he's one of the finest climbers in the world, having climbed Everest, Kanchenjunga, and many other peaks. The doctor is a very busy man. He happened to be leader also, and there's always a tremendous number of people who come to the doctor for help. The villagers were always coming, every day coming, to ask for medicine, and kept him pretty busy. Having established base camp, we moved to Camp 1, which was 15,000 feet high. The mountains in this part of the world are quite different from anywhere else. They rise steep. See our porters still carrying a lot of baggage to Camp 1. We pass a tree line. We kept a few coolies to help us to Camp 1, which wasn't very far. This is now moving to Camp 2, 17,000 feet high. A rope had to be fixed to make it easier, especially for the porters. This was at the end of a gully, and there was always rocks coming down. Camp 3 was established about 19,000 feet high. The snow was deep, and you can see the result of it. That was pretty hard going. There are two members in the distance nearing the top who've gone ahead. It's Rakaposhi in the distance. To the right is the Monk's Head, which was our next objective. There wasn't much room for camps on them at this place, but we were able to flatten out a piece of ground and make a dump of stores. From Camp 2, we were able to get some wonderful view. As moving from Camp 3 to Camp 4, which was about 19,000 feet, and going around a cornice. This is where they met a disaster. The cornice broke and Wrangham fell down about 60 feet, and he had to be retrieved later on with the help of the others when they arrived. But this put him and the porter out of action. They had to be evacuated all the way back to the base camp. In the distance is Monk's Head. We're trying to get there to establish Camp 4 and 5. By this time, the members are getting tired and weary. Rather hard going and strenuous work involved. With Wrangham and 2 porters having gone, we had another unfortunate episode now that the bad weather started. And it lasted several days, which forced us to abandon the peak and come back. But the expedition achieved one thing, that they climbed highest than any other expedition before and found a route which is possible to get to Rakaposhi, and there is a mountain still unclimbed. There is one thing which is outstanding about Rakaposhi, that it is a gentleman mountain. It has never taken life of the climbers that have attempted to climb it.